Starfield is fine, in my opinion. I think it's kind of worth it, but there are definitely some things I like about the game quite a lot, but there's also quite a lot of stuff that I don't really like, actually. So, we're gonna talk bloody hell, okay. Right, first person, I think. Yeah, I'm recording this live. What is happening? Okay. Let me go out of... There's a bump there, even though... There's like an invisible wall. Like, look, I could just... Is it... What on earth is happening here? Okay, is it this? Well, there's that there. But no, because it's behind me, so it's... There, I'm pressing forwards. Yeah, so... This is Starfield, I guess. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I'm recording this... Shut up. I'm recording this kind of live, like a proper old school Let's Play, and not doing the whole voiceover thing, cause I don't have the time. I'm busy. Turns out the 4th year of a physics degree, quite tough in terms of workload. So, we're just going to play it like an old school Let's Play. We're going to talk about it. In fact, this is me. Let's go somewhere fun. I'm just on the main place right now. Let's go and explore something. A planet. Here we go. This will be good. We'll survey the whole planet, and in the meantime, we'll talk about this game, what I think of it. Hello, who are you? And here we are. I think I've got Barrett with me. Yeah, okay. So, oh, it's a bit windy. That's okay. What's over there? There's something angry at me. That's okay. Right. So, this is Starfield. There's me. Yes, I'm playing as a woman. I will not be taking questions at this time. There's got some bits and pieces to go and twiddle. Yeah, so this is Starfield. It's okay, I think. I think there's a lot of problems with it, though. But I think, at the core, it's surprisingly fun. I enjoy it, personally. Oh, hello, you're dead. Okay, that's fine. But what killed you? It was probably the those things over there. Oh no, that's also dead. Okay. Yeah. So basically, yeah, this game was kind of hyped up a fair bit, I think, before launch. Not as much as stuff like Cyberpunk necessarily. I think maybe we all learned our lesson from Cyberpunk and we were sort of cautious. But I got into this. Did I pre-order it? I don't think I pre-ordered it. I think I bought it on launch. But the consensus is that this game is not as good as people thought it was, so they've sort of been review bombing it a bit on Steam. It's gone down to like mixed reviews, which I think is a bit silly, because it's like, it's kind of, I think people tend to use the reviews as like furthering an agenda more so than they do honest assessment of the game, to be honest, but I don't know. Anyway, look at all these things. Scanning, scanning, scanning. Very good. Very No Man's Sky. Oh god. Hold on. Oh yeah. That was good. Sorry, it's not running at very high frame rates. What other weapons have I got? No. It's probably a good day-to-day thing. I have no idea. I haven't played this in a while. Yeah, there's 2 Barretts. Don't think too hard about it. It's fine. Go away. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Yeah, what were you saying about life being wonderful on other planets, Barrett? First, let's talk about the experience of buying and playing the game for the first time. The actual installation. So I installed the game. It was huge. It's like 150 gigabytes, which is ridiculous for any game, even a game as supposedly big as this. Shut up, Barrett. And it was 150 gigabytes, and then I played it, and it was just terrible. It ran like a steaming pile of dung. It was just terrible. It like, the music would cut out every 5 seconds. The graphic, it was running at like 1 to 2 frames per second. It was extremely laggy. It was basically unplayable. And it turns out that in order to... Oh, we got a trait, that's good. In order to actually play this game properly, you need to install it on an SSD, solid state drive, which is really stupid because not everybody has an SSD. And the people who do, like me, I'm lucky enough to have one, I've only got 500 gig of SSD, and most of that's taken up with the OS. So I only had like, you know, not that this game basically took up an appreciable, a significant percentage of my SSD space that was left, like a good quarter to a half of it, basically, which is a bit stupid. I think it's just dumb that they're just like, oh well, you know, just because it does work on an SSD doesn't mean that everybody has an SSD for it to run on, if that makes sense. Like, let's have it so that people who don't have SSDs can actually play this game. Same goes for the price tag as well. I think it's too expensive for what it is. That's what I will say. So the answer to is it worth it? No, not really. Oh, for God's sake, these things. Are you mad at me? I'm invisible, by the way. But that's not all, because I also play this game on a laptop. So I've got my laptop open to my left currently. I normally keep it shut. Also, it's flickering. I don't know why it's doing that. I usually keep it shut when I'm playing a game or doing anything, and I just treat it like a PC. It's got a cooling stand underneath it, actually actively blowing fresh air into it. And despite that, when playing Starfield, it just overheated relentlessly when it was shut. So I have to keep it open while I'm playing Starfield, which is annoying, because like, it basically would overheat it to the point that it just switched itself off because it was going to damage the CPU otherwise. Which kind of sucks. That's also like not a great thing. It's not a very optimized game. I'm just wandering in circles, by the way. Let's go towards this thing. It's a structure, apparently. Yeah, it's so hilariously unoptimized, and none of my friends have played this game yet because none of them have got good enough computers to run it. So I've not really been able to talk to anyone about it. That's not a great start. As for the actual game, I enjoyed it. I have enjoyed the time that I've had with the game, even though, again, I've got a GeForce, not GeForce, I've got an NVIDIA 2060 RTX, which is not the best graphics card in the world, but still, I have to play the game with these settings. I've put crowd density on high just because I want it to feel realistic, but everything else is on the lowest possible setting. Everything. And it's still running. It looks terrible, and it's not running particularly well. I think it's like 30 FPS solid. I can't actually see the FPS at the moment, which is kind of bad. Again, optimization. It's you know, you could say like it's the game. It's not the game's fault. I should have a better computer, but I disagree with that. I think more people should be allowed to play games. And it's flickering. That flickering. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but every now and then it just switches itself off, like it just goes all black, which is, I've got all the resources, that's good. Which is weird, but yeah, it's not very well optimized at all whatsoever. Anywho, yeah, the game itself, combat, very, very good, as you would expect. These people made Fallout 4, I think it's the same company, I think they got id Software in to do this again. So, if you don't know id Software, I think they did they do Quake? Oh, come on, there we go. I think they did Quake. Barrett, nobody asked, even once. That's insane that you would say that. Yeah, so id Software did the fighting, and that was a good move. The fighting's very good, very fluid, it feels quite meaty, which is nice. I mean, you know, that's not particularly meaty, but you're having a pop. I've got a few different guns. It's quite a nice varied gun system. We've got legendary guns, which is interesting. I'm actually only using this legendary at the moment, Rapid Demoralizing. Why am I only using that? Oh, because I did a new game plus, so I haven't had a chance to get any more legendaries yet. That's kind of annoying. I don't like the new game plus system, to be honest, which is why I stopped playing it pretty much immediately after I did the first one. What I like about Fallout 4, having post-ending gameplay, was that your character just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and you kept collecting more and more ridiculous legendaries until you're fighting like... But also, the game scaled with you, so you ended up getting like ancient behemoths and stuff, and like... I fast-travelled outside Ticonderoga once, and there were 2 behemoths just waiting for me, because I was like level 70 or something. That's what I like about Fallout 4. But in this case, yeah, when you do a new game plus, even though you're a high level, like what am I, level 40 something? I don't know. Have I got a skill point? I do have a skill point. What level am I? Level 45. I'll do the skill point later. Yeah, even though I'm level 45, when I went to the first couple of dungeons after doing the New Game Plus, they were all level 1 characters again. I think to sort of... Oh, what's that? What's going on? It's fine. I think to give me a chance to sort of catch up a bit, but I don't want that. I'd rather just fight like level 100 Ecliptics and stuff and get more and more ridiculous legendaries and become uber super powerful and stock up over a time. I don't really... Like, I'm a hoarder in these games. I'm a collector. My favourite thing to do in Fallout 4, and I will be comparing this to... Okay, I don't know what that was. I will be comparing this to Fallout 4 a lot, because in my mind, that's the last game that preceded this. Fallout 76 doesn't really count, because it was basically Fallout 4 online DLC. Hello. What's on you, then? Rubbish. Nothing. There's some people living here. Ooh. So this is a target, right? But it says it's... Okay, here's a problem with this game. Here's a target I've just found at a civilian outpost. Not only do they not, like, fly back up when you hit them, they don't even leave bullet holes. So you can't see where you've shot them. That's like... That's not game breaking, right? That's not like the end of the world that that's the case. What it is something that another game would do. Another game would have that... Hello? There's a person here who wants to kill me. I shall kill them first. Oh, I'm being attacked. Kaboom. Right, yeah, let's show off the combat real quick. This is probably my best gun. Yeah, that's nice and... It's nice and fun. And you got the jetpacking. And, okay, there you see another thing I actually like about this game, which is the skill system. So, very similar to the perks from Fallout 4. You saw them just briefly. Let's have a look at that now. So, basically, your character has these skills, right? And you spend a skill point, you unlock one. So I could just unlock boxing right now. I could just unlock it, hold E to unlock. Once you've got a skill, for example, lasers, in order to rank it up, you have to complete a challenge. So I have to kill 50 enemies with an energy weapon. That's a really good system, because it means you actually use the skills that you get in order to get better ones, but you also don't have to... You don't upgrade things that you don't like. For example, I've not used shotguns, so I've just not bothered with it. I don't care about medicine or botany, just because I've not set up any settlements really. I do have that though. Like, yeah, I got outpost engineering, but I've not actually bothered to build any real outposts, so I can't get the better stuff because I've not bothered to play it. That's a nice system. That's a really good system. The only thing I wish was different was that my character, which, if I go here, she doesn't have any stats, really. Like, there's no special, there's no real element of building a character, because all you do is get different skills, which doesn't feel super great. I don't love that necessarily. Again, it's that move away from... Hello? What was that? Oh, it's just those things. It's that move away from RPG mechanics that a lot of people have been sort of crapping on Bethesda for doing. And I kind of have to agree. Like, I feel like this game has been set up as a proper RPG, more so than, say, Fallout New... not Fallout New... God, not Fallout New Vegas. More so than Fallout 76. But then they haven't actually sort of followed it through. Like, lots of things I like. The change over to more... like no unvoiced protagonist and moral dialogue choices, so there's not the 4 options, and the writing I think is actually better in this than it is in Fallout 4. But then there are lots of instances where the writing is kind of crap as well. For example, like there's I don't know, just a lot of quests have not enough resolutions for me. Yeah, there's one quest where there's like this colony ship that's turned up at a planet. And the planet's already got people living on it in the form of a resort. So you go there and you negotiate what to do. And the options are like... The only options are... Buy a grav drive for the colony ship so they can go away. or like force them into slavery, I think. And that's just a bit like, surely there must be more options. Like, if that quest was in Fallout New Vegas, there'd be about 13 different options that you could choose, 2 of which require you to have a certain item in your inventory, one of which is a faction quest, and one of which is only available to characters who've taken a certain very, very obscure perk. Like, and there'd be, you know, options where you can sort of double cross them and have both angry at you or both pleased with you at the same time. But in this, it just feels weirdly sort of underdeveloped, to be honest. So there's that flicker again. The map is big, allegedly. There's a lot of planets, but at the same time, as you can see, there isn't much on them. Like, this is kind of a pretty empty, pretty boring environment that I'm in, to be honest. And I mean, you know, Fallout 4's map was so ridiculously dense and precisely calculated and curated, it felt like, that there was no way you could run for as long as I have done, like 1.6 kilometers, and not just run into a million different locations and bands of enemies. But in this, it's just like, well, yeah, there's some trees, and we're going to come up against something, a little star icon. What are you? Are you guys bad? Yes. Get your gun out, man! What is happening? Come on. Yeah, you got these sort of legendary enemies that have many health bars, but they don't actually drop legendaries because they can't carry weapons. Whoops. In case you're wondering how I'm so MLG, it's because I'm playing with a mouse and keyboard, which is the best way to play a game that has guns in it. The problem, one of the big problems with the dungeon system, is all the dungeons are procedurally generated. Allegedly. So you don't get that personal touch with the dungeons. They're not been precisely picked out. And I think that's because they wanted to make it random, because they wanted to have everybody have a unique experience, which is fine. That's cool. I'm not against that. The actual problem is that they're not actually procedurally generated. The truth is, their locations are procedurally generated in terms of the planets and stuff. But the actual dungeons themselves are just copy-pasted from one to the next. So there's only like 5 or 6 unique dungeon types. In terms of like, there's like a cryo lab, there's like a listening station, there's like a something observation station, science outpost. We're going to come and have a look at one in a sec, which is... I don't know what that is actually. We're going to go over here instead. And then the randomness comes from like, who's living there? And that's it. It's literally a carbon copy of every other cryo lab in the entire game. Oh, there's a lag spike there. And that sucks. That's just bad game design. That's just outright lazy, bad game design. And I defy anyone to convince me otherwise. I don't think it kills the game totally, to be honest. I do think it is the main reason that most people, myself included, haven't played this for more than about 100 hours, probably. I mean, there are some people who've done like 10 new game pluses and have discovered every little nook and cranny of the entire map. I just am not interested. With Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, going off the beaten track, going somewhere else in the map, usually yielded something interesting. It doesn't matter how good the loot was or how, you know, difficult the dungeon was, as long as there was a story, as long as there was something unique about that particular, you know, vault or something. That's why people explore. But in this, there's just no point to exploring, because there's only... this is insane, by the way. There are only 20 unique named locations that have unique named NPCs in the entire game, because everything else has been randomly generated. So there might be more actual locations in this game than there are in, say, Skyrim. But if most of them are randomly generated, that doesn't mean that they're the same thing. I don't know. And it makes the game feel kind of empty and pretty dead. Whereas, you know, Skyrim as a game feels very much alive and bustling and busy and dense. Same goes with Fallout 4. Same goes even with Fallout 3 to a degree. And Fallout New Vegas. What else? Pretty much, you know, I imagine the other Elder Scrolls games, Morrowind and Oblivion, you know. And this just doesn't quite get there for me. It doesn't quite have the same impact. I think I've got lung damage. I do. So I need a little... I need to take something with a little yellow skadoosh. Whoops. There we go, injector. There we go. Not super intriguing. The fast travel is extremely generous. Like, from here, I could fast travel to another planet instantly, and I would just be outside of my, I'd just be inside my ship, approaching the planet. So, is there anything here? No. For example, this planet kind of sucks. I don't like it. Let's go out of this system altogether. Arcturus. Let's go to Arcturus 2. I'm outside of scanning range, but I could literally just do that. Like, I was outside. I was about 2 kilometers away from my ship, and now here I am. Since we've got a lovely view of the ship, let's talk about the shipbuilding. Maybe we'll go and do some later. I love the shipbuilding in this game. It is my favourite part of this game. To be honest, it's the only reason I kept playing it beyond about 50 hours. The last 20 hours I've been playing of this game. Hello, Vasco. Let's take Vasco with us, because I prefer him.
Captain, it is. Yes, Captain.
Very nice. Go away, Barrett. Vasco's my friend now. Yeah, the only reason I've been playing this game for the last 20 hours or so is getting money to upgrade my ship, because that's all I want. And look at it. I think it's really good. I think that's a good ship. I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, the shipbuilding is very good. The other comparison that you might draw, game-wise, would be No Man's Sky, which is very, very fair, because this is a very similar game to No Man's Sky. Some would call it No Man's Skyrim. That's a funny joke that I thought I came up with until I saw everybody else name their videos on Starfield that. Anyway, I'm not going to call my video that because it's been overdone now. It's too late. I left it too late. But yeah, what this has over No Man's Sky is the ability to build your ship and walk around inside it while it's in space. But if you want that and you want a game that's more focused and more cheap, you should just play Rodina, which is exactly that. You build a ship and you can walk around inside it, you can customize it, and then you go and explore this. You only explore one solar system, but some would argue that's a bit more... that's a bit better. Also, the scale is much better. What this game doesn't have, as you saw when we landed on this planet, is the transition between spaceflight and orbit, and spaceflight and landing on a planet. Because in No Man's Sky, you can go from space, you can jump in real time to a planet using like a luminal drive or whatever, and then you can go down a speed, orbit the planet, get close, and then enter the atmosphere and just continuously sort of get onto the planet without any loading screens. But this is a Bethesda game, so there's loading screens every 35 seconds, obviously. Which I don't like. I think that's a point against No Man's Sky. No, a point for No Man's Sky, but a point against this game. Yeah, so, you know, between No Man's Sky, which was not a good game when it launched, obviously, and this, I still... Hang on, I've pressed the wrong button. Right. Hang on a second. Let me get... hang on. Okay, I wanted to inspect it in terms of its... Do I have the... what mods has this got? Oh, it's not got the mods that I like. Okay, that's a shame. Let's go through all my weapons real quick. Yeah, this is a good gun. This is a Big Bang, and it does what it says on the bloody tin, doesn't it? Look at that. It just chews through anything, because it does, like, 2 types of damage. It's basically the equivalent of the plasma rifle from Fallout 4. Because the plasma rifle did... Oh, I've leveled up again. I'll do a skill point now in a sec. Yeah, the plasma rifle in Fallout 4 does 2 types of damage. This does the same. It does physical damage, but also a huge amount of energy damage. I mean, if you compare that, this does slightly more physical damage, but it doesn't have any energy damage. That does basically nothing. That does absolutely nothing. That does basically nothing. I think this is my day-to-day weapon at the moment. This is, yeah, that does hardly any at all. That's my super big good weapon. But this is like the best gun that I have, because it just does an insane amount of damage. What was I saying? Yeah, between this and No Man's Sky, we haven't hit a really good space game since well, I don't know. I think the best space game was The Outer Wilds, which was not The Outer Worlds, by the way. Outer Wilds, which was a completely different type of game altogether. Because that was one of the games that got space right in this sort of... Because it didn't care about accuracy. It didn't care about whether something was physically possible, whether something was sort of realistic in the true sense, because it got the idea of space right. It got the vibe of space. It got the wonder that we all get from space correct. And that's something these games haven't really done, to be honest. Like No Man's Sky and this haven't captured that same feeling, in my opinion. This is just Fallout in a slightly different setting. And in a way, Fallout was just Skyrim with guns. Or Skyrim is Fallout with dragons. Whichever one you choose, you know? Oh, hang on, we've got people enemies over here. Pirates. So these are Crimson Fleet, but they're rubbish. There's only level 2. Oh, that guy's a bit tougher up there. He's a marauder. Yeah, we'll clear this out real quick. But yeah, I will also say this game is not particularly difficult. I've died a few times. Once I died because I fell through the world. Oh, they're fighting the wildlife, I think. Because I fell through the world and just took damage on the ground that wasn't there. So that's... Thanks, Bethesda, for that one. So, yeah, I don't know. There's some big structural problems with this game. Also, actually, I think they can be summed up by me telling you a story. So, early on, I recruited the character Hella as my companion. So Hella is the guy who's right at the start of the game with you. Before you've even created your character, he's like the first voice you hear, I think. And I liked him as a character, so I recruited him as a companion. And I asked him about his childhood and about his backstory, because I was like, you know, this is a good opportunity for Bethesda to flex their writing muscles and to get me invested in a character. And you know what? They did. Because they actually got me invested in... They actually got me invested in Hella's backstory. Like, okay, Vasco's having a time. Basically, Hella told me that he grew up at a place called New Homestead, which was this tiny little settlement on Titan, I think, in, you know, the solar system, the original solar system. And he said all these things. He said that his family lived there, his brothers and his mother, who was like, you know, they had a whole thing, they had like a whole dynamic that you got an insight into. And he said that he loves collecting rocks because of what he did on New Homestead. He collected rocks, and they had a little... I think Vasco's having an audio glitch. Basically, they said they had a little museum on New Homestead, and Hella eventually convinced the guy who lived there and ran it to let him display his rocks at the museum. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. That's a really fun little story that really gives us a good insight into Hella's character. Good stuff. Let's go to New Homestead with Hella and see if there's any fun things, like any bonus little side quests, or even small things. I'm not expecting a full companion level quest from Hella, because he's not really a full companion like the others, but I was expecting some little fun detail, right? Anything. But when I got there, I went to New Homestead, Hella was my companion, set properly, everything was as it should be, and there was nothing. There was no indication that Hella had said anything to me about this location whatsoever in the past. Like, I went in, and I explored everything. There was a museum, like he'd said, but there wasn't any rock display. There wasn't any geological exhibit. There was no... It wasn't tucked around the back. I explored everything in the entire area that was there. I explored everything, and there was no indication that anything Hella had said had been true. The guy didn't acknowledge him. Hella didn't say anything. He never said any single word about the fact that he was back home. I went down to the living area because, you know, there was like people living there, and it was a museum, but they said be respectful because this is actually where people live and work. There were lots of NPCs down in the living area who were said to be New Homestead settlers, and none of them identified themselves as related to Hella in any way. None of them acknowledged Hella in any way, and Hella didn't acknowledge them back in any way at all. And that was just like, that was the first time I really had a sort of a disappointed, kind of sour feeling about the game, where I was like, you really should have done that. You should have done something. You should have acknowledged that, you know, Hela lived here in some way. Again, I'm not expecting a full quest. I'm not expecting a full fleshed out, like, you know, companion quest type side quest thing. Even just a word or two from Hela about, you know, wow, it's so amazing to be back home, and actually having the, you know, rock collection in the museum. You don't even have to have Hela's mum as an NPC. I'll give you that one, okay? You can just have one bit of incidental dialogue between Hela and the guy who ran the museum saying, oh, your mum's out of town for a couple of weeks, she'll be back soon though. And Hela's like, oh, okay, that sucks, but okay. And that's it. If you did just that, I would have been happy. I wouldn't have mentioned it. I wouldn't have thought about it. But you didn't, Bethesda. Sandwich. You let the side down with that one, to be honest, Bethesda. I'm not going to lie, that was pretty disappointing. Anyway, I'm going to leave Vasco to his terrifying audio glitch over there. I'm going to investigate. I'm just going to keep scanning for a bit. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say about Starfield. Shipbuilding is amazing. I love it. Character building. Oh, let's level up actually, shall we? What do we want to get? I would like to get, like, rejuvenation is good. That's healing, literally just regenerating health. That's good as well, because it's basically, that's stealth. I got that from a quest. But at the same time, what I'm really focused on is starship stuff. So for example, yeah, see, in order to get better ship modules, you need to have that, but you also need piloting, and I haven't destroyed 30 ships. So I can get that though, that's cool. And that's also nice. What else is there? Targeting controls. Also, I really like weapon engineering, but I haven't. Oh, one more weapon mod. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fast travel back to the ship, craft a single weapon mod, so that I can get that. Hopefully, I've got the resources. But anyway, yeah, this game, it's fine. It's a perfectly enjoyable Bethesda type experience while I'm there for about 60 hours or so. And then I just got bored because I'd done everything. I don't like the new Game Plus system at all. It's not what I'm into at all. There's Vasco, he's fixed himself. Yeah, just something generic like that. I won't even... I'll put the scope back on even. I think I've spent more resources than I should have done there. But now I can get this. We've maxed out weapon engineering. I should probably do spacesuit design as well. Yeah, but I'll do that later. Anyway, if I keep playing this game, which I might not do, to be fair. But yeah, that's Starfield. Yeah, I'm getting very distracted. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's fine. Is it worth the money? To be honest, probably not. I don't think so. I think there's some problems with it. There's some pretty big problems with it, and it's not the sort of return to form that Bethesda were hoping for. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of, like, you know, there's many other problems that other people could tell you about, like the fact that it's so sanitized. Like, there's extreme violence, obviously, because you can kill people with guns, but there's no, like, sex references, and there's only one drug, which is basically not even that bad, really. It's just sort of like the city of Neon. That should be a sort of Vegas type place. It should be like New Vegas. New Vegas was a pit of debauchery in the original, in Fallout New Vegas. And honestly, it makes Neon look like a children's playground. It's so weird. Yeah, just a lot of bizarre design choices, but there are also lots of really amazingly good missions as well. Like, for example, you know, the mission where you have to travel to alternate universes, that rocks. I think everybody agrees that was amazingly good. That was so fun. I'm honestly just sad that they didn't keep it going. That wasn't like unlocking an ability or a power. That was just like a one-off. Because it's a bit disappointing, to be honest. Also, the mission with the first UC Vanguard mission with the Terramorph in the plant, where you have the turrets and you have the detector. That's like a scene out of Jurassic Park, and it's terrifying and it's amazingly well done. It's just gorgeous. Also, the Crimson Fleet, that quest on the lock where you go down to the surface and you have to explore the whole dungeon. That's also amazing. Those sorts of dungeons feel properly Bethesda-y, in my opinion. That sort of stuff is like peak why people like Bethesda games. It's just a shame that those moments are so few and far between, when previous games would have those like front and center as like the majority of the game. Whereas in this you have to go looking for them. But yeah, as I say, there's lots more issues with this game. Many more reasons people are review bombing it. I'm personally, I don't know, I've sort of gone off it a bit, I think. Even just playing it now, I'm a bit like, there's not much point to what I'm doing now. Like, I can go to this place over here. I could kill everybody inside, get some XP, but that's really the only good thing you get. Like, the legendaries are not that good, because it's the 76 star legendaries, which I don't really like, to be honest. I'm not a fan of the 76 star legendaries compared to the Fallout 4 legendaries. I also think they're too generous with them. Like, I've got, you know, too many, basically. You get given way too many. That devalues them pretty significantly. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this game, really, anymore. I mean, I am. I'm really on the fence about this game. I go very, very back and forth on it. Like, sometimes when I'm in the mood, it's very, very fun, and it's I could spend hours playing it and just doing, you know, all sorts of little bits and bobs and quests and stuff. But when I'm just, often I want something more focused. I've pressed the outpost button again. I want something more focused, and I want something more, I don't know, well put together as well, because it does feel a bit sort of, weirdly it feels rushed, which is odd because it took them 6 years. Like, what were they doing for that whole time? Also, it keeps flickering while I'm recording, which is concerning. It just goes to show it is quite buggy as well, is the thing. Like, it's a Bethesda game, but it's not a particularly good example of it. It's sort of on par for what you'd expect. It's not as bad as 76. I will say this game is better than Fallout 76. That being said, I've only played it for about the same amount of time as I played Fallout 76. For basically the same reasons. Like, I just got bored after the same amount of time. One of the big reasons I don't like the New Game Plus is because I spent so long making the Frontier just amazing. It was huge. It had like 6 modules on it for HABs and stuff. It had every companion on it that I could get. It had all of the benches and all of the beds and stuff. It had a huge amount of cargo capacity. It had really good weapons. It had really good engines. And then I completed the game, and my reward for completing the main quest, they took it away from me. They took away my ship that I spent hours collecting hundreds upon thousands of credits. And what is that, by the way? It's an ecliptic stiletto. Oof, they're the bad guys. Yeah, and then they took my spaceship away from me. I don't get why they think that once you've completed the game, the best thing to do is to take everything that you've worked towards away from you. It just seems a bit weird to me. I don't like that. Good game design wise. Again, I'm a hoarder in these games, so in a lot of ways I'm more sort of concerned about the stuff that I've got than the character I've built, especially because you don't really build a character, you just get skills. It just feels like a bit of a weird system. I don't see why you couldn't just keep all your stuff, but I don't know, man. I'm not a game designer, so maybe I'm wrong about that, but I am a game player, and the customer's always right. Anyway, I think that'll do for today. That's Starfield. That's basically what I think of it. Let me know if you disagree, of course. Let me know if you have any other thoughts about this game. Is it worth it? Probably not. I've said that a lot already, but I don't think it's worth the money at the moment. Definitely get it on sale if you're into Bethesda. If you're not, probably don't bother. Go play Baldur's Gate 3 instead, to be honest. I need to play Baldur's Gate 3. I'm probably going to stop playing Starfield now. I don't imagine I'll keep playing it after this video, because I just don't really care about it that much. It's not gelled with me. It's not become one of those, like, safe, like, same games that are, like, I really, really love to just play, regardless of, like, anything. It's not going to become one of those games that's in constant rotation. This will probably be the last time I ever play it, to be honest. Bit of a shame. Oh well. Anyway, thank you very much everybody for watching, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please, if you don't mind. That would be pretty PogChamp. And yeah, goodbye.